Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon, people. Arno TV is back with you once again on YouTube. Now, today, we're going to talk about a subject that we have never, ever discussed on Arno TV. And I have been holding off on speaking about this subject for around 3 or 4 weeks. But it's come to a point now where I can no longer ignore the things that seem to be going on worldwide all over our planet. And what I am talking about is the unprecedented amount of sightings of UAPs worldwide. Unidentified anomalous phenomenon, which people used to refer to as UFOs. Now, we have all sorts of the media calling a lot of these sightings drone sightings, okay? But we have our military and our media and our governments on record saying that they have no idea what these things are. They have no ability to bring these things out of the sky. And we do know that if these were conventional drones, that there is technology out there to basically return the drones to senders or bring them down out of the sky, okay? We have reports, okay, over UK military bases. This has been going on for a fair few weeks now. And as far as I'm aware, it's still going on, of drones, multiple drones, flying with impunity over some of the most secure airspace in the country. This is happening at military bases across America. This is happening in civilian areas. It seems to be heavily happening at the moment in the New Jersey area. I mean, we have, multiple sightings, multiple people capturing this stuff on camera. And may I remind people as well, because a lot of Arno TV viewers may not be aware of this, that there was an interview that took place last year in 2023 between a journalist called David Grusch and a person that's called David Grusch. Okay, now David Grusch was a senior colonel in the American military with top level secrecy clearance, top level clearance. And he has come out in this interview that he did last year and stated that the US military has captured and retrieved non-human technology and has been attempting for years to reverse engineer this stuff, and that there is a cabal of people in our military intelligence communities that are fully aware that they are in possession, I repeat, they are in possession of technology that is non-human. And he's also gone on to say in that interview that they have retrieved, the way he put it, was non-human biologics. Okay? He stopped short of saying aliens, but he said non-human biologics. And if you don't know, this interview is what's kicked off all the hearings in the American Congress last year and this year about this very, very subject. Now, it sounds crazy, people, but this is what is going on. These hearings are taking place in the American Congress. Okay, now let's have a look at some of the things that have been going on and are widely being reported worldwide. And please out there, this is not a joke. This is not conspiracy theory. This is what is going on. We have had senior military people stating this in Congress, that our governments are in possession of non-human technology that they have been reverse engineering for decades, and they also have crafts that they say that they've retrieved and non-human biologics. Now, I want people out there to think about this. This is not a joke, people. I am not making this up. There are reports everywhere about this. And if you don't believe me that this kind of thing has been going on in Congress, then I suggest that you go over to YouTube and you watch the congressional hearings and what is actually being said. Obviously, there are certain things on the grounds of national security and such top-level clearance that can't be said in public and have to be done behind closed doors. But what has been said in public, I repeat that our governments are in possession of non-human technology and non-human crafts that they have recovered and have been reverse engineering for years, and this has been withheld from the public by a cabal of very, very powerful people. Now, we now have a situation, people, where we have mass so-called drone sightings all over the world. And these things are flying over our airspaces with total impunity. And it seems that our military, our police, our federal governments are unable to do absolutely anything about it. And they are coming out and telling us there is nothing to worry about. This is unbelievable, people. Absolutely unbelievable. So let's go over to the internet. Let's show you some of the things that has been reported and some of the footage that's been captured. Let's show you what is going on, people. Because as I said, this is not a joke, okay? So let's go over to the internet. Let's go over to the internet and let's start, okay? Let's start with this, which came out 47 minutes ago. So today is the 13th of December, okay? And this came out 47 minutes ago on the 13th of December 2024. And this is about developments of what is going on over New Jersey at the moment. So let's just play this video.
There are more questions about the mysterious drone sightings spotted across the Northeast. The White House, FBI, and Homeland Security are using sophisticated electronic detection technologies to monitor the skies and continue to downplay any potential threat. However, senators from New York and New Jersey are now sending a letter demanding a briefing on the reported drones they have flown over their states.
As I said, that was 47 minutes ago. And a lot of these things are being reported as drones. Okay? As drones. Okay? Now, let's just say that these are drones. Okay? Well, they're obviously not any kind of commercial drone that you would have yourself. Okay? Because some of these things are being reported the size of SUVs. Okay? Of a vehicle. Okay? And our military are unable to identify what these things are, who's in control of them, and are unable to bring them down. So if these are, for example, foreign adversaries, okay, that are flying with impunity over our airspace, well, is that not something to worry about? Is that not something to worry about if that is one of the possible scenarios here? Let's move on to the next video, okay? Because some of this stuff, it is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's move on to this one. This is again explaining what this is 14 hours ago about further sightings of UAPs or drones over New Jersey that are flying around New Jersey and the outskirts of New York with absolute impunity, with our authorities unable to do anything about this. This is just unbelievable.
Of what people are calling these mystery drones over at least 10 counties in the state of New Jersey. These strange images, which you can see here, depict some of these sightings of flying objects, of some which are quite large, some up to the size of a bus even, and lots of people across the internet and the world are speculating about exactly what these flying objects are. Sources from the UK surmise that the drones could be Russian, They could be hostile intrusions from the likes of a country like Russia, while sources from the US believe they're more likely to be of Iranian or Chinese origin, especially with the technology that's being used here. There is a gravitating towards the explanation of these.
Let's just stop there for a moment. Let's just assume that what's just been said in this video is these drones, let's assume that they are, of a human foreign adversary to our own governments. And are you telling me that we shouldn't be concerned then about a foreign adversary seeming to be able to fly their technology around our most restricted airspaces with impunity, and our military being unable to do anything about this is not a concern? Do you seriously believe that this is not a concern? It's of maximum concern if it is a foreign adversary. Now, there are also reports as well, just so, in case anybody isn't aware of this, but there are also multiple reports of these drones that are flying around over Russia and China. In fact, there was a report the other day where a Chinese airport was shut down because of these so-called drones. We have reports that you can see on the internet yourself where a blue orb landed at Manchester Airport this year. This has been captured by a pilot. This has been captured by a pilot from a plane in Manchester Airport. This is what is going on, people. I am not making this stuff up. These sightings are worldwide. And bearing in mind that we've had someone called Cliff High, who's made these predictions that from December the 3rd this year, that the world of unknown science would come out into the open. Now, this man developed some linguistic software in the 1990s, Cliff High, that's predicted all sorts of things, including the stock market crash of 2008, including 9/11, and unbelievably, this linguistic software that was originally developed to predict stock market trends, I believe, back in 2008, made a prediction that, bearing in mind this prediction was made in 2008, that following an interview with Joe Rogan and Donald Trump, that this technology would then come out into the open. Now, bearing in mind, in 2008, 2009, Joe Rogan's podcast was not what it is now. It was relatively a minor thing. And Donald Trump was not even involved in politics at that point. Yet this linguistic software made a prediction in 2008 or 9, I believe, that following this interview with Donald Trump and Joe Rogan, that 39 days after that interview took place, which was December the 3rd or 4th, depending on where in the world you are, that this unknown science would suddenly come out into the open and be on public display. And ever since December the 3rd this year, there has been worldwide sightings of what the media are calling drones and what a lot of people out there are calling UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena, which is what people used to call UFOs. I want people to think about this, because if what people like David Grusch have come out and said, and multiple other senior military people in Congress and on the record, that there is a cabal of people that are lurking in the shadows very high up in military intelligence that are fully aware that they have possession, okay, possession of non-human technology and non-human crafts and non-human biologics that they have been withholding from the public for decades. And according to people like Ross Coulthard, who have broken this story and have lots of sources in military intelligence, that this secrecy goes back to as early as the 1930s. I want people out there to think about this. This is not some hoax, some joke. This is exactly what is going on. And I implore anybody out there that is watching this video and thinks I am winding them up, I suggest you go and look at the interview between David Grusch and Ross Coulthard. I suggest you go and look at the testimonies that have been given in Congress about this subject in 2023 and last month in November 2024. This is not a joke, people. This is now got to a stage where I can no longer ignore this, because this is going on worldwide. Let's just continue with this video that came out 14 hours ago.
Being from Chinese technology. And UK sources have said that it can't be something like an Iranian mothership sending all these different drones that are rather large sometimes and fly for quite long periods of time. Footage like this, shared on social media, purports to show an orb UFO or UAP objects passing right by a drone from New Jersey, and also F-16s were sent up to chase or pursue some of these drones, but the drone was shown on camera in unconfirmed footage to actually outrun the F-16 jet.
I want people to think about that. This has been confirmed, okay, by multiple sources, and including the drones, the so-called drones that have been seen flying with impunity, may I remind people, flying with impunity over RAF bases in this country, yeah? We have had reports of our own aircraft going up and trying to intercept these so-called drones, and these drones outrunning military aircraft. Now, I want people to think about what on earth is going on and what on earth our governments have been hiding from the public worldwide for decades. Okay? This is not a joke, people, by any stretch of the imagination. This is not a joke. This is the reality of where we are in 2024 on the 13th of December, okay? And if any of Arno TV viewers out there, okay, if any of you people have caught any of this, have got any footage of these UAPs that seem to be materializing everywhere, make sure you send them my way, and I will show that footage on my channel, okay? Because this has got to a point now where it cannot be ignored anymore. These reports are going on all over the world. And let's look at further report here. When did this come out? 2 days ago. Further reports on more flying drones around New Jersey. Okay, let's look at this one.
Embarrassment to the people of the state of New Jersey, because people already come to the table with distrust of government. This adds to distrust. And I'm deeply concerned that people are going to come up with conspiracy theories. You see them on the internet all the time. So this doubled down, and it double downs on the people who make up theories and also don't trust government. So it has a double whammy on government.
Have they told you anything, Senator, about what to say or what to think?
The only thing I heard is Governor Murphy did a press conference while he was signing another bill, and he indicated he wasn't concerned with the safety of residents. But the residents I represent are deeply concerned that they need a lot more information than a blanket statement that it's still safe out there. That's simply not enough. We're going to have a briefing tomorrow in Trenton, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Now, the FBI have now got involved in this in America because of the amount of sightings that have been of these so-called drones. And they had a hearing yesterday where the FBI have openly stated they have no idea what these so-called drones are. They've no idea who's behind them or what's behind them, and are getting no answers from our military people worldwide. This is absolutely shocking and frightening that we have things flying around our airspace with total impunity that our military seem to be unable to tell us at all who they are, what they are, who or what's in control of these people, of these so-called drones, and where they have come from. Let's move on to a UK news report about this. Okay, this was on LBC. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay, this is regarding the UAPs or drones that have been flying with total impunity over the most secure airspace we have in the UK, over RAF bases, some of those which are shared with the Americans, some of those which are our own, but are reportedly the bases that house some of our nuclear weapons. Okay, this is what has been going on out there, people.
Have random things flying around secure military sites, and that is exactly what the UK and US military based here have been dealing with publicly, at least for the last 5 or 6 nights. Last night there were more reports of objects in the sky above RAF air bases from Oxfordshire to Norfolk and Suffolk. We're told it's not just kids playing around because, and I'm quoting, their flights were coordinated over a series of days. Professor David H. Dunn is an expert in the politics of...
Did you hear that, people? Did you hear that? This is not, kids or whatever messing around with drones that you can buy off the internet. These are drones that have been flown over the most secured airspace in our country, and our military are unable to do anything at all about it and have no idea at all who or what is behind this. Okay? This is where we are on the 13th of December 2024. And I repeat, we've had senior military people such as David Grusch and others that have testified in Congress in 2023 and last month in November, stating publicly that they are the military, the US military at least, and others are in control and have in their possession, should I say, they have in their possession crafts of non-human origin, technology of non-human origin that they have been reverse engineering for decades, and biologics of non-human origin. This is not a joke. This is very, very serious, and I've got a feeling in the next, because of what has been going on worldwide, that this, is getting to a point where the cat has obviously come out of the bag. I've got a feeling some huge, groundbreaking news is going to come out in the first quarter, probably, of 2025, that is going to absolutely change the way that we all view life, the universe, and everything. Okay, this is how serious this is. Okay, and I mentioned, I mentioned Cliff High and these predictions from this linguistic computer that were made in 2009. Yeah, well, this is that guy, Cliff High. Okay, and this was put out a couple of days before December the 3rd, when these predictions were supposed to start. So let's just have a listen to what Cliff High has to say.
This is countdown to 0. All right, so this is going to take a little explaining. All right, so I started doing data runs in 1997. It took me a long time, took me like 18 months to get that first set of data processed enough. Now bear in mind, I didn't have the lexicon really established. By the time we got to 2001 and the attacks on the towers, my data had forecasted back in March of that year. I finally got around to writing it up. I published it on George Ure's site in July, as I recall, like July 12th or something. All right, so that data took that long to process, and even then, even in 2001, I was still working on the lexicon such that I had not gotten up to the T's in, so it was shown as a military / accident. Okay, and of course it was deliberate, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, so it took that long, and it took me a number of years thereafter to get the rest of the lexicon defined in terms of all these values for each and every one of the words, including values that go to time, okay? And time is something that we're just guessing at. I've been studying it now for 30 years, and I realize how pig ignorant I am of time, right? The crows out there know more about time than I do. All right, so anyway, in 1997, we start getting a data set that made no sense. And it didn't make any sense all the way through the next really official run, which was done in 1999. Thereafter, I started getting a little bit more productive, shortening the process time on each one, formalizing it, getting it down to, you know, where I could pop things off in an automated fashion, having software that controlled other software and monitored it for me. It was just a huge operation, right? Took me, I came across on the idea in 1993. I started writing, formalizing the code in my head and writing notes on it in 1993, okay? Very late in 93, December of 93.
So, as he's explaining here, this linguistic software that he developed that was originally going to be designed for predicting the stock markets, I believe, he had the idea in his head in 1993. He started to develop it in 1997, okay? Now, I want you to listen to the predictions that this linguistic software has been able to calculate, because what it does, as far as I understand it, it monitors people's language all over the internet through bots and is able to make predictions based on language, okay? This is fascinating stuff.
So it took from 93 until 2003 before I started getting into really productive runs on a consistent schedule. I was trying for 2 runs a year because they were massive. I was writing 300-page reports, whittling it down to 100 pages to sell, and avoiding putting in 99% of the data that was showing up because it was just too voluminous, right? So, and also the interpretation and all of that. So anyway, but in 1997, and firmed up in 99, there was this set that made no sense at all. And it talked about three money, okay? 3 money. And that was basically the primary aspect, the defining linguistic set that everything else, or the linguistic pattern or phrase that everything else within that set was attached to. And so it was 3 money. And it made no sense at all, right? And I didn't have my timing and everything. But around 2000, and it kept growing. With each and every run, I would get a repeat of this set that would add more stuff to it. Part of that was an artifact of my doing the software and expanding it, okay? So the initial runs were not as expansive in what they were looking at. Part of that was an artifact of the internet growing so that there were more of you bastards out there saying shit and thus leaking out prescient knowledge. So, and also part of that was the expansion of the lexicon so we could get more cross-links because I had more words to find. So there were these technical aspects that were intruding on this. It wasn't like it was, you know, growing psychically over time or anything. It was more like it's always been lying out there completely exposed and fully detailed, but our eyes have to be trained to hunt through the weeds to see it, kind of a thing. So it's more on our end than on the side of nature. All right, so okay, so the free money thing over time, and we're talking all the way into 2003. Okay, so in 2003, it sort of firms up, right? It firms up into 2003, and it starts looking like an offer. And you can check the old Alta reports, which are on beyondmystic.net for free. You can go and get the ones that I've posted out there. We've lost a lot. I did audio ones, and it was a little disjointed.
So what he's explaining here, okay, is predictions about the consequences of what happens after this technology becomes, comes out into the open. I'm not going to play this whole video, but I'm going to leave the link here for you. But what he's explaining is because of, as we said earlier, the cat seems it's out of the bag now about this technology that our governments are in possession of, and non-human biologics that our governments are in possession of, that once this knowledge becomes public, it's going to make humanity question so many things. And a lot of the systems, the monetary systems that everybody relies on, are going to go into collapse due to this. Okay? And he goes on to say about that there's going to be a complete breakdown of our financial systems due to all this coming out. Okay, this is unbelievable, people, unbelievable. I'll leave the link to this video in there. Now, looking more back at what's going on in the present, okay, look, more mystery drones seen over bases, okay, and this again is over New Jersey.
Unidentified drones have been spotted over 4 joint U.S. and UK military bases in England. The mysterious drones have repeatedly appeared for over a week now. Stephanie Bennett is live in London. So, Stephanie, this is pretty disturbing. What do we know about these drones?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Julie. I mean, the details are still very limited at this time. We do know that the sightings started last week on November 20th, and they have really ranged in size, in style, and also the amount that we've been seeing over that last week or so. Now, a senior British official confirmed to Fox that the UK has deployed about 60 troops, including counter-drone specialists, to help determine who is behind this and to help defend the air bases amid fears it's a potential coordinated operation. They're describing.
Did you hear that, people? They've deployed counter-drone specialists, okay, who have not been able to bring any of these so-called drones down, and they are flying around our secure airspace with total and utter impunity. I want you to think about that out there. What on earth is going on?
The incidents as unusual and say this is a serious set of circumstances. Take a look at this map. The bases are spread across England and are all used by U.S. Air Force. Now, the drones have been seen over RAF Fairford, Lakenheath, Mildenhall and Feltwell. For now, civilian police, supported by the UK Ministry of Defence, have launched an investigation. And so far, we're told there has been no impact to residents or infrastructure, and they have not been identified as hostile. Well, a Ministry of Defence spokesperson said we take threats seriously and maintain robust measures at defense sites, but as of right now, it has not had any significant mission impact. At a Pentagon briefing, Fox's chief national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin asked whether the drones appear to be those of hobbyists or something more sinister and concerning.
Again, I want people to think about the fact that for a good number of weeks now, this has been going on all over the world, okay? Our so-called, technically superior military are unable to tell us what these are, where they're coming from. They're unable to capture or bring them down as far as anyone's made anybody aware. We've had the FBI saying that they've got no idea what these drones are. who's in control of them or what's in control of them. Okay, listen to what this military person says about it.
It would be, premature to draw any conclusions. We've got to see what these are. I mean, it's entirely possible that it could be hobbyists or something else. We just got to look into it. So,
yeah. And
do you people think out there that it's likely that a drone hobbyist, who could buy a drone from Amazon, is going to be flying that drone over secure military airspace and nobody's going to be able to do anything about it? Yeah? Do you believe that, people? Do you believe that? And let me also remind people, some of these drones that have been flying over the secure airspace in the UK, have been flying in some of the worst storms that we've had in this country this year. Okay? And anybody who's got a drone or knows anything about drones, you're not going to be flying a drone in storms, severe storm weather. Okay? It's going to be extremely unstable. And the likelihood of it being uncontrollable is quite high. Okay? These things have been hovering, in one position in this kind of weather. Okay, does that sound like any hobbyist drone that you are aware of, or you out there have one of these? Does this sound like one of these drones? Because it doesn't sound anything like that to me. This is what is going on, people, and this is getting quite serious.
And for now, the U.S. Air Force says the investigation, of course, is still ongoing, and right now, all eyes are on the skies. Julie.
All right, thank you very much.
And as we mentioned, David Grusch earlier, should I say, the person whose interview with Ross Coulthard in 2023 has kicked off all these congressional hearings and has effectively put this cat out of the bag. Just listen to this, okay? Listen to this.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely. Would you have had the capability to defend yourself, your crew, your aircraft?
Absolutely not.
No. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
We're going to start talking to people. We're going to start naming names.
Now it's on the front burner, and it's about time. The dam has broke, and it is overflowing.
What I personally witnessed was very disturbing.
Someone can reach through the veil of government and pierce it to the point of we do not have access to something. You got to start asking yourself who the hell's in control.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured and conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
I want people out there to think about what these people are saying who have given evidence in Congress. We are not talking about tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists sat in some basement somewhere. We're talking about senior military people with the highest levels of clearance of security, have top level security clearance, are coming out and saying things like this. This is not a joke, people. This is not a joke. And I believe that we are now on the precipice, the precipice of some major disclosure that is going to come out about technology that our governments have been withholding from the public worldwide as far back as from the 1930s. I want people to think about that.
Good evening, I'm Brian Enton. Welcome to our special report. A historic congressional hearing drew lines of spectators to the nation's capital, where under oath, 3 witnesses told lawmakers and the world, we are not alone and our government has proof. Remember, this all started.
I want you to think about what I've been telling you in this video. As I told you, this is no joke. This is no wind up. I'm not making this up. These people have given this testimony in front of Congress. This is on YouTube. It's been on news channels. We are in a situation where we are potentially on the precipice of some major disclosure coming out in the not too distant future. And all of a sudden, as all this has come into the public domain, we now have so-called drone sightings or UAP sightings absolutely everywhere worldwide since the start of December. I want people to think about that.
With Pentagon whistleblower David Grusch, who sat down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart for an exclusive interview with News Nation. He alleged the U.S. government has a secret crash retrieval program and claims it is in possession of UFOs, even bodies of dead pilots. David Grusch sat before a House Oversight Committee this week alongside former Navy pilot Ryan Graves and Black Aces Squadron Commander David Fravor, both who say they saw something not of this world.
I advise anybody out there to go and watch the congressional hearings of David Grusch, David Fravor and Ryan Graves from 2023 and listen to what these people are saying, because as I've said, these people are not, jokers out there. These people are people who are of senior people in senior people in the military, okay, and had top secret clearancy, okay? They had top secret clearance, okay, these people, and this is what these people are saying. This is what these people have put out into the public domain. That our governments have been in possession of this technology for decades, okay, and have been actively covering this type of technology from the public, okay, keeping this information from the public. People have allegedly been killed to keep this information secret. This is what is going on, people, and we now have drones, or so-called drones, flying with impunity all over the world, over military airspace, over nuclear power stations, over America, over the UK, over Germany, over Russia, over China, over Brazil, over Argentina. This is going on worldwide, people. I can't ignore this anymore with my YouTube channel, because the reports of this are just beyond belief. And some of the footage that I've seen in the last couple of weeks is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, I know people can fake all sorts of things with CGI out there, but a lot of the stuff that I've seen does not look faked at all. And I implore everybody out there to go look into this. There's definitely something that is going on over our skies and in our seas at the moment worldwide. And there are things, that they are calling drones, that the media, the mainstream media are calling drones. And isn't it interesting that apart from that LBC clip that I've just shown you, our media in the UK have been completely and utterly silent about what is going on in the skies above this country. Now, isn't that interesting that our despicable government have said nothing and are keeping this under wraps? Well, the cat's out of the bag, Starling Starmer. It's all over the internet. There's news programs news outlets all over the States putting out this information now because so many people are seeing these things. Now, people are seeing drones or UAPs that are the size of SUVs out there, okay, that are flying around neighbourhoods with impunity, and the authorities are unable to do anything about that and are telling you that you should have no concern, okay? No concern. This is an absolute joke, okay? This is a joke, people, that our authorities are saying things like this, because there's quite clearly something serious going on out there. And I repeat, it is my belief that because of these congressional hearings and the disclosure that's already come out, that in the first quarter of 2025, okay, we are going to get some major information that's probably going to change the whole way humanity looks at everything that we've ever come known to be true, okay? This is what I think is about to come out. This is that serious, people. It is that serious. Now, look at David Grusch. This is Ross Coulthard, who I've been talking about, who did that interview with David Grusch last year that kicked off all these congressional hearings. Let me play you a clip, okay, of what he has said in the last year. And there's all sorts this guy's put out over the last few months. But just listen to this.
Now you have somebody who is an on-the-record US government intelligence officer, recently resigned, who is saying that he has been briefed directly by intelligence sources, by people inside the program who have directly witnessed, literally touched alien spacecraft, and who are aware of the existence of a non-human intelligence on this planet. And we have this absurd situation.
Did you hear that, people? Did you hear that? This is not a joke, people. As I told you, anyone who's watching this episode of Arno TV and thinks it's a wind-up, I don't think so.
Where a double standard is being applied. The media immediately says, oh, no, he hasn't seen these spacecraft. He hasn't seen these aliens. Well, they didn't see the weapons of mass destruction back at the time of the last Gulf War, but they were very happy to cheerlead the American government and the Australian government and the other allies into a war in the Middle East that was utterly ill-conceived.
And it is these people, okay, that have come in front of Congress and said these things, as I've said, they are not crackpots. They are people who were senior people in the military, okay? This is what is going on, people out there, and I cannot no longer ignore this as a topic, because the amount of people that are coming forward and observing these things, it's beyond a joke. It's all the time now. And since the start of December this year, these sightings of UAPs or drones, are off the charts worldwide, okay? So if any of my viewers out there, as I said earlier, if any of my viewers out there manage to capture some footage of these UAPs or what people conceive to be a UAP or a drone that they can't quite figure out what it is, then send that footage my way and I will show it on my YouTube channel, because there is quite clearly something going on at the moment worldwide. And our governments are trying to keep information from the public which can no longer be kept from us, okay? Because if they are in possession of non-human technology, non-human biologics, non-human crafts that they've been reverse engineering to gain that technology, it's about time that these people come and told the truth about what on earth is going on, because there needs to be some serious disclosure going on here in the not too distant future, in my personal opinion. And this is an episode of Arno TV that I never thought I'd be putting out. But this is the crazy world that we now live in at the end of 2024 on the 13th of December, okay? This is where we're at, people. We're now talking about the possibility that our governments are actually in possession of non-human craft, non-human technology, and non-human biologics. This is insane, okay? I'm going to leave it at that for this episode of Arno TV, because, as I said, I honestly never thought I would be coming online and talking about things like this, but it's come to a point where I can no longer ignore it, because something is quite clearly going on, okay? So if you've enjoyed this episode of Arno TV and you want to see more, then please like and subscribe to this channel. And once you've done that, please ring the notification bell so I can inform you good people out there about future videos I'm going to be putting out, future streams that I'm going to be putting out, about all the things that we usually talk about, and now we have another topic which has come to the forefront that we can no longer ignore, and our despicable government and our despicable media are pretty much absolutely silent about this. This is where we are with these people, okay? So for now, take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll be back soon.